What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FudgeMuppet. I'm Drew, and today I'm answering the question, what is the strongest weapon that you can create in Skyrim? We all know about the many powerful weapons that you can get from various Daedra princes and multiple dungeons, but what is the best result you can get when you put your time, effort, and skill into creating the best weapon possible? Using a combination of enchanting, smithing, and destruction, we're going to create the most powerful sword possible. This is, of course, without any exploits or hacking. First, let's go over the essential skills, perks, and gear to begin creating this god tier weapon. You will want a skill level of 100 in enchanting, smithing, and destruction. As for the perks, let's start with smithing. You'll want the steel smithing perk through to the ebony smithing perk, so that you can maximize your smithing ability when it comes to making and improving stahlrim weapons. For enchanting, you'll want 5 out of 5 for enchanter, and the entire left branch, with all of the elemental enchantments perks up to extra effect, which will be essential for ramping up your damage output. Now for destruction, you will need the novice destruction perk, of course, but then you will want 2 out of 2 for the augmented flames, augmented frost, and augmented shock perks. Just keep on listening, I will explain to you why you need these destruction perks in a little bit. As a little preface for gear, you will want a necklace, helmet, gauntlets, and ring enchanted with fortify smithing to maximize your weapon's damage when improving it. Before you actually enchant these with fortify smithing, I would recommend getting the insightful enchanter perk from the enchanting tree and using an enchanter's elixir, which increases enchanting by 25% for 60 seconds. Then you should have the best legitimately acquirable fortify smithing gear. And finally, before we get to the actual enchanting of the weapons, I would recommend finding another enchanter's elixir and also wearing the full set of Arzadal's armor, the helmet, boots, armor, and gauntlets. When you wear these 4 pieces, and only these 4 pieces, you'll be granted an effect called Arzadal's Genius, which fortifies your enchanting by 10 points. Also make sure you have the fire, frost, and shock enchanter perks from the enchanting skill tree, as they will make all of the elemental effects that we apply to the weapons 25% stronger. Now for the actual weapon itself. You'll want to have a stahlrim weapon of your choice. It basically comes down to preference, but we're going to go with a sword for this demonstration. The stahlrim weapon, while not the strongest base damage weapon, has the unique trait that other weapons don't have. Frost enchantments are 25% more powerful when placed on a stahlrim weapon, and this effect also extends to the chaos damage enchantment. Chaos damage, if you are unaware, is an enchantment added by the Dragonborn DLC, which has a 50% chance to do fire damage for 1 second, a 50% chance to do frost damage for 1 second, and a 50% chance to do shock damage for 1 second. And because stahlrim affects the frost portion of the chaos enchantment, it actually also affects the fire and shock damage portions, since the game treats it as one enchantment. So in summary, the frost enchantment and chaos enchantment are 25% stronger when placed on a stahlrim weapon. So already we have the most powerful possible damage enchantments via the frost and chaos enchantments, getting a 25% boost when put on stahlrim. But we take this even higher with the augmented perks from the destruction skill tree. You see augmented flames, frost, and shock at rank 2, each increase the damage of fire, frost, and shock spells by 50% respectively. However, what some of you may not know is that these perks not only affect spells, but also affect your enchantments corresponding to that element. So, in summary, you have a frost enchantment that does 25% more damage because of the stahlrim effect, and then 50% more damage because of the augmented frost perk, which happens every time you strike an enemy. But then you also have the chaos enchantment, which gives an additional 50% chance on every strike to cause frost damage, which itself will have 25% more damage from the stahlrim effect and 50% more damage from the augmented frost perk. I know, that's quite a mouthful. And in addition to that, it has a 50% chance to cause fire damage and another 50% chance to cause shock damage on every strike, both of which are boosted by the 25% from stahlrim and 50% from the augmented flames and augmented shock perks respectively. If you watched our 9 hidden perk effect videos, you will also know that the augmented flames, frost, and shock perks not only affect the first enchantment, but also boost the second enchantment. So, the example we showed in that video was augmented flames increasing the fire damage and the absorbed health damage on an ebony mace. So, what that means for our god weapon is that the augmented frost perk will be giving the chaos damage a boost in general. Then, of course, you have augmented frost, shock, and fire receiving a 50% boost each from all of the augmented perks. I'd highly recommend you watch that video to understand it clearly, but in summary, you're going to do even more super duper damage. All of this math basically gives you a weapon that is only 3 points of base damage away from the highest in the game. So a 13 base damage sword that after enchanting has a frost and chaos enchantment that all have 25% more damage from the stahlrim effect and another 50% more damage from the destruction perks, which more than makes up the difference. And I also haven't yet mentioned that chaos damage can also happen all at once. For example, if you strike an enemy and you succeed with the 50% chance on every element from chaos damage, that means you are dealing your normal weapon damage, which would be boosted from smithing, then frost damage from the frost enchantment, fire damage from the chaos enchantment, shock damage from the chaos enchantment, and even more frost damage from the chaos enchantment, all of which are boosted in damage from perks and effects, giving you an insanely powerful god tier sword. You will simply have to try this for yourself. It is insanely powerful and it also has the fun randomness to it because of the chaos damage. Remember, you'll want to have all of the perks I mentioned and have skill level 100 in smithing and enchanting for the best possible results. Subscribe for more cool Skyrim videos just like this, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.